Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about the Traitors finale.
Yay, we finally get to talk about the finale. It happened.
It did. It was dramatic. More dramatic than I was expecting.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and like this video
And support us on Patreon at patreon.com/nerdtainment.
Okay.
Do you agree it was more dramatic than you were expecting?
Yeah.
The ending, I thought.
Yeah.
I was like, 13 minutes left.
Yeah.
What? And then there was some twists.
I'll say there were definite
fire.
twists and turns that I did not see coming.
Mm-hmm.
I was really sad about one of the banishments.
I know, me too.
So yeah, it did not go just as predicted.
No, it was a pretty good finale. But we're starting with Kate up in the turret with Alan. There's no one for her to talk to,
Nope.
so they send Alan in
has
there.
to go in and be like, girl, you alone.
And I actually liked what Kate was saying. Mm-hmm. She's actually making a strategic move. It's too late, but she's making a strategic move where she's like, it's either Sheree or Trishelle. Sheree, because that could take the suspicion off of me.
Yep.
Trishelle, because she's so smart and she's going to figure me out. And I'm like, everybody's got you figured out at this point. So good to just throw out the one that might confuse people. And she murders Sheree, we find out, at the next breakfast, which I think was the right move.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that she didn't do Trishelle, that she went ahead with Sheree. But I also feel like, yes, it's kind of a smart move, but it's also too late.
It's too late, yeah. But she also was kind of screwed by the traitors that came before her.
Yeah, I mean, it just came in at a bad time.
Yeah.
They should have murdered a Bravo person earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I questioned if keeping Sheree as a number at this point was smarter. Because you should have already done the, make it less suspicious of me. But it might be too late for that. You might just need the number. Yeah.
But it's like, I just think she was kind of doomed no matter what. Mm-hmm. And Sheree had also figured out that she was a traitor. You know, when she read her letter, she was like, I think I know. It's Kate. And really the only person at this point who's not onto Kate is MJ. She thinks it's Sandra.
Oh, MJ. So good at this game, MJ.
She's so good.
So good.
But CT's sure of it. Because and I think partially that's because of what she did at the last round table, where she came too hard at Phaedra. And so CT and Sandra picked up on that. And, you know, when we get the castle moments after breakfast, it's like CT and Sandra being like, it's Kate. And then we see Kate being like, but Sandra won Survivor twice.
Yeah.
And then CT and Trishelle are like, let's just get with Sandra and vote Kate.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like everyone's on board. They get Kate.
Seems like it.
Even when Trishelle was talking to Kate and MJ.
Yeah.
And they were like, Sandra. And Trishelle's like, yeah, Sandra for sure. And then she walks to CT. And I was like, oh, because I thought Trishelle meant Sandra.
Sure.
And then she was like, no, it's Kate. And I was like, oh, okay, great. So that's just clear.
So we go on the mission. I was so disappointed that Peter wasn't here for this helicopter ride. Can you imagine?
No.
The Bachelor, and he's the only one who really knows how to do that. Yeah. Everyone else seems like, oh.
I honestly I thought it was cute how excited they all were for a helicopter ride.
Yeah.
They're rich.
Yeah.
They live a life we don't live.
Yeah.
And a helicopter's coming, and they're like, oh my God.
What?
You hear the helicopter?
Are you serious?
Oh my God, helicopter. And I was like, that's cute.
They should have had Peter fly it.
Yeah,
that he's a pilot.
Would have been funny. They can't afford that insurance. That's higher insurance.
Exactly.
For him.
But they're going out to the final mission, which is where they have to run across the, Irish Highlands and Scottish Highlands and raise the flag of this ship, and along the way gather these detour flags, and CT's really the only person who's physically equipped to do these detours along the way.
MJ, though, was right by his side.
Yeah.
She was grabbing. I was like, is that MJ acting like she's up in this mission?
Yeah.
Look at her. I felt like she was doing more than Trishelle at times.
Well, because Trishelle was talking strategy. Mm-hmm. She was off separately with Sandra.
Like, Sandra, let's go over here.
She's like, Sandra, you're in danger, girl. And we need to get Kate. And Sandra's like, okay, if you say so.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'm here. This mission, y'all. Could the clock have been less involved in this mission.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
CT ran back to the starting point.
The starting
of the mission point. And the producer's like, don't worry about it. You should go.
Oh my God.
We're going to add
He goes
time.
back to the beginning. Then we go to the abseiling part. I'm sorry. It was 15 minutes by the time, who is it? Kate is struggling? Kate.
Yeah.
Kate's at the top. They're like 15-minute reader. You're trying to tell me she went down that in like 2 minutes?
No way.
No, she took way more than 15 minutes to get down that.
I promise you, that took forever.
I don't buy it.
No. And then Sandra, I think, was the last one down. That woman was almost upside down at the end of that abseiling thing. I was like, this is taking forever. And so then they're like, there's one more bonus thing, one more $10,000 to find. And it's inside a cave. They send Sandra with CT. I was like, Sandra is going in a cave?
What you doing down there, Sandra?
Under the water?
Why y'all down there?
Why are you there? You don't need to be there. It just needs to be CT.
Also, again, we didn't have the time for this, but the producers are like, yes, we do have the time.
We do. Don't worry. We're going to stop the clock. We're going to call a timeout.
They stopped that clock so many times.
You go in there.
Oh my gosh.
Then I loved when they finally take their little motorboat over to the ship and they get up there and Alan is screaming at them to raise those sails.
And honestly, I was like, Kate, aren't you on a show in a boat?
Yeah, exactly.
She was like, what's a sail?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, you're on a show in a boat.
You're on below deck. I know it's a different kind of boat, but there's got to be something.
Alan's yelling through that megaphone, and then they're like standing right there, and he was like,
oh my goodness. Oops, I just broke the bottom of this wine glass. Okay, it's fine. Just got them with jeans. I'll wash these when I get home. Anyway.
As well. So that was fun.
Yeah. So Alan's screaming at them. He's like, you don't know how many times I have told you I've had to stop this clock. Let's go. And would you believe they made it all the way to the ship and they raised those sails?
Would you believe it?
And it was right in time for them to win all of the money.
Alan's like, 10, 9, 8. Raise the sail. That's on the sail.
9 seconds left. And they win. What was it? Like $50,000. So now they're up. Yeah. I thought, we were wrong.
Yeah.
We predicted that they would max out the prize.
Yeah.
But they only made it up to $208,100.
We were only partially wrong. Okay, they didn't give them all the money.
But they gave them as much as they could.
Stop the time. So, yes, they did.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Okay, great. They have some money. It's now pitch black. It's midnight.
They're going home. We see a little bit of Kate trying to frame Sandra again to CT on the car on the way back. But then it's really all about this castle moment where Sandra's with Trishelle and CT, and it seems like they're in lockstep. We got to separate Kate. MJ from Kate.
Yep.
We got to get Kate. And so then Trishelle and CT leave. Kate comes in. Actually, maybe, CT did kind of scoot his way on out. Because I think Sandra was like, leave me alone with Kate. Kate sits down and Sandra's like, so CT tells me that you threw my name out. Yeah. Which I'm loving this. Because that's Sandra's just like, I'm going to very casually float this to you.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
You did throw my name out. And Kate's like, I'm not shopping your name.
I don't think that came from me. Mm-mm.
And Sandra seems to fall for it. Because she's like, does CT have an ulterior motive?
You know what? I did not believe Sandra fell for this in the moment.
Okay.
We find out later that Sandra fell for it. But Sandra's so good.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem flustered.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, yeah, well, I guess we have to go for CT. The conversation just seemed natural and normal, right? I can't tell who's playing who.
Yeah.
But I have to give Kate some credit here because seems like she played CT a little bit.
Yeah.
Seemed like she played Sandra a little bit.
Well, and what I thought might be happening is that Sandra was like, okay, you know what, Kate? I know you are a traitor, but I could use you in this moment.
Yeah.
You, me, MJ. And she pitches this to Kate. She's like, you, me, and MJ, we vote CT. So I kind of thought this was Sandra's anyone but me thing.
I did
where
too.
she's like, let's get CT out now, and then I'll get you out later at the fire, and I'll be one of the winners. unfortunately, she wasn't prepared for Kate to report this information back to CT.
Yep.
Because Kate's focused on getting Sandra out.
Yeah, no, Kate definitely won this little round here, and I was surprised. I thought, like you, Sandra's like, anyone but me, let's flip the strategy here. But no, we get to this round table. This is when I was like, whoa, what just happened? Because I just did not see that Kate got the upper hand.
I didn't either, because initially CT goes for Kate. Yeah. At the top of this round table. He's like, why were you defending Phaedra? She doesn't really have a great answer for that. No. She just talks about how she knew Dan was a traitor, and it's like, that was forever ago. That was before you were even a traitor. Yeah. But then MJ goes for Sandra, and it kind of, the energy shifts from there. Yeah. Sandra she, I think, explains it quite well, where she's like, listen, I was safe with these traitors. Yes. And so I thought, I'm going to stay right here, because they're not coming for me. And that's Sandra's game. Me first. Whatever I need to do to be safe. She's fighting for her life. And CT turns on her. Yes. CT's like, well, you said my name. Yeah. I can't trust you. Yeah. I'm not sure about you. This seems all shady. Trishelle's like, what is he doing? Yeah. Like, in her face, she's all like freaked out. She doesn't know what to do. Yeah. Sandra is doing the best she can to defend herself, but it does seem like everyone's coming for her except for confused Trishelle. Yeah. And of course, MJ is like, doesn't think it's Kate at all. So she's like 100% there. And I was like, oh my gosh. I know. Are we losing Sandra at this point? I know. And it's one of the interesting things I think about the format of this game is that the faithfuls know that unless they switch up the format, they don't have to get out the last traitor right now. Yeah. They could get out a faithful who's a threat to them winning. Sure. And then get another traitor out at the final fire. And I think that might have been what was happening here. Where, I mean, to me, CT and Trishelle were the ultimate traitors of the season. And they had a deal to go to the end together. And so maybe this was a moment where they were like, let's save Kate. We don't need to get Kate out right now. Well, it obviously wasn't for Trishelle, because she did seem surprised. Confused, and we're going to see her continue to be confused. Yeah. But I do think that CT was probably like, we know it's Kate. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure about Sandra, but she seems shady. She's got to go anyway. Yeah. So let's just go for her. Mm-hmm. They're going to write names down. Trishelle, like, doesn't even know whose name to write down, but they're all going to be Sandra. They all vote Sandra. Sandra voted Kate. And Sandra got. I was gutted at this point. I was so disappointed. I was rooting so hard for Sandra. So hard. Glad she made it to the finale, but I would have loved to have seen her been a part of the winner circle. I think once I saw how everything plays out, Sandra was never going to make that final two. Never. So I guess it didn't matter. But in this moment, I was like, I can't believe. Yeah. I can't believe she's out. Also, the way they like cliffhung on Trishelle's vote. They were like, who's Trishelle going to vote for? And I'm like, well, there's only one dramatic way for this to end. Like, it's Sandra. So that was like, whatever. Sandra's gone. Sandra's gone. And then we do the final bonfire. I really thought they might change up the way the season ended, because just to like keep them on their toes a little bit and like being able to predict it less. Because to me, it was like a clear path for the faithfuls to take it down to 2. Mm-hmm. Like, if you strategically plan it out in your mind, you're like, yeah, I can get a traitor out, and then I can get another faithful out, and... But that's the game. I guess so. You can keep doing that down to 2 people. Yeah. 2 people, then the game's over. Yep. I think that's fine. That's the game. Yeah. So, but here's what I have a problem with this show and the format of the show. This season and last season, I remember there being a huge difference between that last round table we just saw and then them standing by the fire. Their body language is completely different. It's a totally different narrative. They think differently. Mm-hmm. I thought that the first season, I was like, wait a minute, we missed something. And here we are again. Clearly, they still game. Stuff happens before they come to the fire that we do not get to see, and that bothers me. I'm not sure I understand. Okay, well, let's talk through the fire. Okay, because they get there, and it's the same kind of thing where they have to select a bag to throw in the fire. Red or green is how it's going to burn. Green means you want to be done. Yeah. Red means let's have one more vote. Yeah. Kate stupidly votes green.
there's no more traitor? When MJ, who doesn't even understand what game she's playing, is like, someone was murdered.
Sheree got murdered, and we did not eliminate a traitor at the round table.
A traitor has to be here.
So there's still one.
Mathin'.
So then Kate, like, put the nail in her own coffin with that vote.
Yeah, but I think that the body language of Kate, when she walked out to the fire, and the body language of MJ was she knew Kate was a traitor.
Interesting.
And I felt like Kate knew the writing on the wall, so she was like, no, the game's over.
It's over.
And I don't think that made a difference.
Yeah.
That was just my reading and interpretation. I don't know if that's true.
But I think Kate's job was to say we got to vote again and to try to convince them that it was someone else.
Yeah.
For her to vote green, let's stop, it was just a dead giveaway. But I think she kind of probably just had a Phaedra moment where she was like, I'm tired of fighting. You all know I'm a traitor.
That's why I think there was a conversation before where they were like, MJ, this is the time it has to be Kate, blah, 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 blah. And then Kate was like, there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah.
She probably could have at least put on a show for the cameras and been like, it's CT.
Right.
But I think they had already been convinced.
Yeah. She votes Trishelle. Everyone else votes Kate. And this is the point where it's 13 minutes left in the show. And I'm like, this is not done.
You texted me, and I was like, keep watching.
This is not done.
Just keep watching.
They are not going to vote to be done with these three.
No.
Because CT and Trishelle are like, why split the pot 3 ways when we could split it 2 ways?
But, to be honest, Trishelle thought CT might be a traitor.
I know. I was surprised at that. I was like, is she creating a TV moment?
No, I think all things can be true here. I think that CT tried to have a plan with Trishelle. Yeah. Where the two of them go down to the two of them. Yeah. But I think Trishelle, who we saw be paranoid a lot of the season, got paranoid. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh no, he's a traitor. Yeah. This moment where we read 3 different names.
3 different votes. I was shocked.
Okay, first off, when they're like, vote again, I was like, oh my God, they're doing it.
They're doing it.
Because it's like, are they going to do this?
This was when I was like, CT and Trishelle are the traitors. They're betraying MJ.
I was like, I can't believe it. They're going to cut MJ out of this money. They're doing it. And then MJ takes an hour to decide who to write down. And I was like, MJ doesn't even understand what they're doing. She thinks her vote matters. She doesn't get that they're cutting her out. And then they flip the name over and her vote did matter?
I was like, if she had just voted CT.
Oh my God. If she had just voted CT, how hilarious would this have been?
Like, what was her allegiance to CT? Why would she vote Trishelle?
Right. Why? Why would she vote it again? Yeah. Oh my God. Why did she not change her vote? Yeah. Not that it would have mattered then, but just still, like, MJ, explain the process to me.
I know. But she is, I mean, from the moment she sees the red vote, she's shocked. Yes. Before they even cast a vote. Yeah. She's like, what? What's happening?
She's like, she gives such good face.
Why are we voting again? Section. So she's realizing, as we're realizing, like, oh my God, someone else is about to be betrayed before this season is over. And then she, you know, like you say, she's hemming and hawing, whatever. She votes for Trishelle. She should have voted for CT because Trishelle would have voted for CT and it would have been,
that'd have been
a
the
done
end
deal.
Of the game.
And Trishelle is just suspicious. And I mean, I am suspicious of this being real versus not. I'm just not sure. But it does play into the narrative that she started at the round table where she said, I'm voting for Sandra because I just want to be in the majority, but I don't know what's happening. Yeah. And that pays off here when she's like, you turned on Sandra, CT, so I don't know if I can trust you because you turned on a faithful at the last minute and you didn't give me the heads up. So it does sort of feel like a logical decision in the moment. But
for Trishelle, you mean?
For Trishelle. Yeah. To vote for CT. She justifies why she voted for him.
And look, I know that everyone's like, they just said they were going to go down to the two of them and they didn't want to split the money with MJ. And I do think that is a huge part of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Mm-hmm. Because the other part of it is, what if MJ was a traitor? Like, the Bravo people were protected all season.
Interesting.
And half the season, if you remember back, they thought MJ was a traitor. Mm-hmm. Remember when she was in the coffin and they were like, MJ, she's definitely a traitor. Like, there was part of the season where they thought MJ was suspicious. She never got murdered. She was always protected. There is a 10% chance in my head that maybe MJ is a traitor as well.
Yeah.
And why would you risk losing the game at that point? You might as well.
Might as well. You get more money and you're decreasing your risk of being a traitor.
Exactly.
In the finals. So they vote again, and, you know, Trishelle changes her vote to MJ, and it's her and CT, and they couldn't even build the suspense to reveal that they were both faithfuls. That just spilled out of their mouths.
Yeah, I think that, like, when they had to vote again, CT was like, we had a plan.
We trust each other.
Please, like, trying to convince Trishelle, which worked because she's like, oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Okay, so he's not.
Yes.
Okay, he's not a traitor. Got it.
I am going to win $104,050 with you.
And then MJ's like, screw y'all, bye.
Oh, she was so upset. Rightfully so. I would be 100% upset.
100%.
I think, like, it speaks to the importance of finding yourself a ride or die in this game.
Right.
A final two alliance, if you will. Pick somebody to trust the entire way. And, like, we are both faithfuls, we're in this together kind of a thing. But you can't let that be known, because I think this outcome will change future seasons in terms of they will never let a CT and Trishelle make it to the final fire together again. That will be a focus.
You didn't see this last season. This emphasized a new element of the game that you'll have to be very, very careful about moving forward.
Yeah.
But it's hard. Like we've said, like if we both were playing, like I can't trust David, even though I'll be like, David, I trust you. We're in this. But like deep down, I'm like, I don't know if I can trust him. So I would like, we're standing by that fire too. And I'm like, David.
I know. There's always that lingering doubt.
I'm going to murder you myself.
Yeah.
You know? I get it. It's hard to trust everybody.
Yeah. But it is like, if they do another season with all reality people, there's going to be so much conversation about, well, they're from the same show.
Same show, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Like, they talked about the Bravo Housewives, but like next season, no. Cut them. Split them up.
Yeah. So...
congratulations, CT and Trishelle. I mean, honestly, I know people had mixed feelings about, like, Faithfuls winning, but, like, those two, to your point, they were traitors.
Yeah.
And they worked hard all season.
Yeah.
Like, their head was in the game.
They did.
And there was a mission, if you guys remember, where spiders and bugs and were thrown on people.
Yeah.
And they had to yell a code word to leave. MJ was the first one. Sheree, Kate,
and Phaedra.
And I said, none of those people deserve any money. And so I'm sorry, MJ, you couldn't put bugs on you.
Yeah.
You don't get the money.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that.
Yeah. I mean, it was, again, it's people from the gamer side of the reality world that are winning this game, right? Suri won season 1 from Survivor. Now 2 people from the challenge won. It will be interesting to see if someone from outside of that world can ever win the game. I'm sure they can.
I'm sure they can eventually, but it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So the reunion was interesting, and I feel like there was like some good information, like Dan's game, Parvati's game. Sandra really seemed like she wanted to be a traitor. She was bummed that no one ever picked her.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we learned that the Bravo people are performative, but that's who they really are. That's kind of what came out of it.
Okay.
Andy was like, I can confirm this is how they truly are. But it doesn't take away the fact that they are performers.
Right. So when Phaedra was like, I hate Dan.
Yeah.
That's performative, but she means it.
I mean, she might really, truly mean it, at least in this moment. Like, I don't know if in 5 years she's going to
When you told me that happened, I didn't watch the full reunion, but you told me that moment happened, and I was like, well, that's Phaedra. She's a housewife. She knows how to give good reunions.
Yes.
She knows how to create a moment that's going to be a moment.
Yes.
But I guess it's also real at the same time.
I mean, I think it's real to an extent. Yeah. I think she probably is like, I don't need to forgive him.
Yeah.
I don't.
She's like, I will never see this man again.
I mean, MJ was like livid, right?
Yeah.
She could not be more upset with Trishelle and CT, and there was a lot of talk about like the gamers are like, it's a game. We're numb to this stuff. Like it's like how would you take this personally? But the Bravo people were like, we will take it personally.
Yeah,
it is personal. And I think that that's just truly how they feel, which is why they're cast on those shows, because that's what you have to take that stuff personally.
Yeah.
What you wouldn't throw wine in someone's face otherwise.
Yeah.
You know? And apparently that's good television.
I also remember, and I showed you before our last stream, but there was like a leaked seating chart of the reunion, and we didn't really talk about it because we don't do spoilers very often on this channel. But it was accurate. And it meant something. Like, people were speculating, like, okay, Phaedra's right next to Andy, but, like, she's the star of the season.
Yeah.
And then CT and Trishelle are right next to her. Feels like winner placement. And it was. So.
It was.
You know, I wonder if they'll be more careful about that kind of thing being released in advance of a reunion or something. Because I think for some people it kind of spoiled the ending. But it's also just...
I'm interested to see who liked the reunion. Like, I just don't feel
I find it boring.
Yeah, I don't need a reunion for... this.
No. We don't really dig into the Survivor reunions that much. Like, it's just
it happens immediately now. Like, that's not even a reunion.
But it's like, the way Big Brother does it, I think, is a little bit better. Like, they do the reunion before the announcement of the winner. You know, they, like, visit with the eliminated house guests briefly, because that's all you really want, is, like, a brief little moment with some of your fan faves. And then get to the winner. Like, I don't need a whole hour-long show to rehash everything that's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I've never watched a Housewives reunion, but I assume that people tune in because they want some fights, right?
And it's a different beast because it's them not just, like, rehashing what happened, but, like, it's sort of the first time where they're all together since the season aired, and they're seeing what each of them said in their confessionals, and they're confronting each other for fights that happened during the season. And it's kind of a whole new episode in a different format of the show. This is just like, the show's over. We know who the winners are.
Yeah, and half the group doesn't want to fight. So, like, even though MJ tried to pick a fight, it got squashed. People were like, sorry. Move on. You know, and even Johnny Bananas was, like, trying to pick a little bit of a fight. But, like, also everybody else was like, nobody cares. Move on.
Nobody cares.
So, I don't know. I just didn't think there was a point to it for this show.
Yeah.
I did like to hear a little bit of the strategy that some of them talked about, but I'm sure we would have heard that in an interview. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that was just my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Overall...
Fun season. I mean, I struggled with it for some of the way through, but I just think I kind of had a hard time getting on board with the Faithfuls doing well and winning, and ultimately, like, that's fine and valid.
It
was still exciting at the end when CT and Trishelle, you know, made the moves that they made.
Yeah.
And I think that this season, if they do another season like this will change the strategy moving forward for the game, and I think that's what we want. And hopefully they'll make some tweaks to the format, just like they did this time. They had more shields this season and, you know, did the, like, join me or die twist. Like, they made some tweaks that sort of freshened up the gameplay a little bit. And I hope they do that for next season. I'm sure they will.
They'll have to, for sure. They just filmed the reunion a couple days ago. It was earlier.
Oh, wow.
It was just the beginning of the week.
Okay. Wow.
Last week. Mm-hmm. They all came out to LA for it.
Interesting.
I saw them flying in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fine season. I think nothing tops what Suri did.
I know.
But CT and Trishelle, well done.
Very well
you
done.
did it.
Yeah. And a totally different way of playing the game. So congrats to them.
All right, you guys. So Traitors season 2 is obviously over, but we've got Survivor. We're here on Thursday nights recapping Survivor. I have Exit interviews Thursday midday-ish.
Yes.
And also this week is the premiere of Amazing Race.
We're doing a draft tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night we'll be here with last season's winner, Greg.
Very fun.
For a draft. And then we will... regularly recap that on Sundays, starting this weekend. And then I will also have Exit Press as well on Thursday. Y'all.
Woo, that's a lot of Thursday content for you.
Guess who else I'm talking to this week?
Who?
Phil!
No.
Yes!
Oh my God.
For the premiere of Amazing Race, I get to talk to Phil on Wednesday.
Oh my God.
Y'all, what do I ask him?
That is so exciting.
That's so exciting. I'm excited. I have to sound halfway smart. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know. But I'm very excited about that as well.
That is awesome. Congrats.
Yay! All right, so we hope you guys will stick around with us for the rest of these other shows, seasons.
Yes.
Everyone in the chat, thank you for being here.
Thank you, thank you. And if you're joining us later, let us know what you think about this outcome. CT and Trishelle winning, betraying MJ, Sandra's banishment, Kate giving up as a traitor. Let us know your thoughts on this finale. And thank you for joining us. What?
The one note, I took one note.
She took one note and she didn't even say it.
I forgot my one. That's why I wrote it down. I was like, I know you're going to forget it. Okay. It happened in the reunion.
Okay.
But you mentioning Kate giving up reminded me. So people were talking, especially Dan was like, I give so much credit to Phaedra. She took me out. Phaedra was so great. And then Andy was like, what else could you have done, Phaedra? And she was like, well, I liked everybody in the game. There was nothing else I could do except for throwing Kate under the bus or Sandra under the bus or throwing out their names. And I just wouldn't do that. I wrote down, so you wouldn't play the game. Like, that you wouldn't do the game.
Literally what you need to do.
She wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a validation that she did kind of give up. I mean, I was definitely giving her the benefit of the doubt that she was just exhausted, which is understandable.
Yeah.
But, like, you could have said, maybe Sandra?
Yeah.
And that would have just at least saved you a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? Why would you not do that?
I don't know. It's just these people come from different backgrounds.
They
they don't understand.
She was like, no, I didn't mind if any of them won, so I didn't want to say their names.
That's the other thing that, like,
then don't be a traitor.
Is one of the complaints of this format is that these people have money and they don't need the money.
Right.
And so there's not that, level to the game.
They didn't build up enough money in the pot to even make it, like...
She's like, what am I going to get? $10,000 after taxes?
She's like, I made that yesterday.
Yeah.
She didn't need the money. And if they're, like, not willing to betray people, like, then you're not willing to be a traitor. Like, that I have an issue with. Mm-hmm. If you say, I want to be a traitor in this game, but you're not willing to actually do it.
Yeah. What are you doing there?
She still was the star of the season.
She was.
But I was like, oh my gosh. She just, like, spelled it out. That she would have had to play the game.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to do it.
She wasn't willing to do that.
Okay. Whew. At least I remembered that before the end of this.
Thank God.
Stream, you guys. Oh my goodness. All right. Yay. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow
for the draft.
Yay. All right.
All right. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.